everybody. It's Ed Rosenberg, and this afternoon I'm speaking to Yakov N Rosenberg. Yakov, how are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing very good, Baruch Hashem. Thank you. And like I told you before, I watch a lot of people on YouTube and LinkedIn, and not everyone talks to everyone. Doesn't mean they're no good, but some people like a certain style, and I came across your style. I don't know, maybe you remind me of my Rebbe or whatever, whatever it is. I think what you said comes across as very sincere and very true, and it benefits me. And I just figured that we could do this, and it'll help the broader Amazon sellers crowd.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. So I'm really honored to be a help to people, and I'm really happy to hear from people that they like what I do and they actually could benefit out of what I do. So in Amazon itself, I don't have a lot of expertise, but since Amazon is, in my eyes, a regular business owner, I would say then we could some kind deliver something for Amazon sellers.
Yeah, Amazon sellers are regular business owners, and just like you speak to multiple business owners, so Amazon sellers are business owners. So one thing you speak about getting the results you want. So let me just ask you, how do you get the results you want?
Okay, so you're referring to a video that I had recently on LinkedIn and on YouTube, and it's based on what I learned from my main mentor, which his name is Tony Robbins. Anyone could look up and see what he does. He does amazing stuff. And he teaches about how to get the results you want in a very unique way. And I love the way he puts it down. So I'll try to give it over the same that he does. So the first question he usually asks is, if you do a poor job, what kind of results you get? So usually the crowd would say, you do a poor job, you get poor results. But he says, no, it's not fair. The world in which we're living now, it's not a fair world. So when you do a poor job, you get no results. You're out the door. This is what happens usually when you do a poor job. So what's the next step? You bump it up and you do a big step you take and you do a good job. So what happens when you do a good job? Usually, people will say you get good results, but it's not accurate. What happens is you do a good job, you get poor results. So what do you do next? And which I believe is everybody who is going to be listening to this is where they are at. They're doing at least an excellent job. They step it up from good to excellent. But what kind of results are you getting by doing an excellent job? So I guess you figured it out, you're going to get a good job, a good result. So where does it come to the point where you get the benefits, the rewards, and the results that you're really looking for is the tiny step. It's literally a tiny step from excellence, and you go and you're being outstanding. So you stand out from all the other people around. When you stand out from all the people around, there is where you get all the results, all the benefits, all the rewards. And it's very much, where you see it a lot is in the sports industry. So you get like there's the gold medal and the silver, and I think the next one is I don't know exactly, bronze, yeah, exactly. But when it's the fourth, what result is he getting? He gets no result. Why? Because he only delivered excellent. And the people who did outstanding in sports, they get the rewards. And the rewards could be for a person sometimes years after. Sometimes you get a person who is walking in and he's over 90 years old, and all the full room, full stadium, the president, everybody stands up and claps. No one knows who he is really, but why is everybody doing it? Because once, like 40 or 50 years ago, he did an outstanding job, did an outstanding result. And there is where you get all the results and all the rewards.
By being outstanding. Now I know we spoke about it before, but I see a lot of people on LinkedIn saying, I'm the best, I have no competition, I don't have to look at anybody else. And I always say that I don't know if this competition is better. Maybe he's doing the same thing I'm doing and he's working better. I think the key is you be the best what you could be. And I think people recognize that. In other words, you give it your best, it's always going to be good enough. Maybe there is
Sure.
better competition. Do you agree with that?
I agree, and I would say like this: everybody where he is, he has, especially when a person is working on himself and a person is doing certain jobs and certain things that he's doing to do personal growth or personal business growth or whatever it is. They are usually behind him people who could benefit from the learning what he's doing. So now, if I would say I'm the best in what I do, I'm the best that I could be now. If I'm in 10 years from now, will be, I don't know how many times better than I am now? Definitely, because we work and work and work. But we always have people that could benefit from us no matter where you are. Even you just started your game. You listen to one program, you're already better than a person who did nothing. So, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people who didn't do nothing. So there's always a point where you could benefit people behind you. And when you get better, you get more followers, you get more listeners, you have the ability to influence more. So like I mentioned before, the name of Tony Robbins, he influenced millions of people. But he can deliver for a person what other people who have smaller networks could, because he is booked. He doesn't have time. He cannot take up more clients. So he could do what he could reach out and influence what he does globally. But one-on-one or grouply is something that you have to get to the people who are just starting out and they're learning. Before they get really big, there's a point where you really learn from them and you have the ability to get in touch with them in a unique way and get everything you want from them. So I think you're really right about it. That you don't have to be the best, and you can't be the best because there's always going to be someone that is better than you. But in the same thing is like we say on a fight, we say there's two sides, no matter how thin you slice it. It's the same thing like that. No matter how good you are, there's always two sides. There's some people who are better than you, there's some people who are worse than you. I shouldn't say worse, but not as good.
I'll even say one more. I think that if it's not worth the resources to even check on your competition. That's what I would say. In other words, you put all your energy into being the best that you can do. And just disregard, don't spend resources and say what your competition, he is doing this or he's not doing this. Maybe he is better, but that's for him to worry about. You don't, like when I don't know if you mentioned sports, a lot of times a guy's running from first to second or he's running from, and he's watching the play. And this watching him is what slows him down and gets him out.
Yeah. I would say one more thing about it, because one of the other videos that I recently had on LinkedIn was about being unique. But what I mean by about being unique is that every person in the world, no matter where he is, what religion he is, he has something to be unique about. And that uniqueness, there's no one else could really copy it, because he is going to be the master his lifetime in this particular uniqueness. So when a person is finding his own uniqueness, where he is especially unique, no one could even be his competition. So you don't have to worry about it. And you'll never find someone. Because if someone will try to copy you, which is unfortunately happening all the time, you'll still be the master. Because you have it in you, and the other person is just trying to repeat and copy what you're doing.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so now I'm going to ask the main question. So how do you become outstanding?
Okay, so how do you become outstanding? I divide it for myself into three categories where a person could focus to be outstanding. And I would say it's going to be different for different people. So some people who are just starting out on Amazon and they're just dealing with the customers one-on-one, and they don't have like a huge network and an office where they have some employees working for them, it's going to be one thing. So to them, it's going to be relevant only two parts. And people who have employees, it comes up the the part from employees. So the number one thing that a person could be outstanding and has to work to be outstanding is on himself. What I mean to say by himself, he needs to take care of his body physically, which is, I think a lot of people know, when you're eating healthy, you do your exercise, you're at your best all the time. It's like sometimes when you walk into salespeople and let's say you go in to buy a car and you walk in after lunch, the salespeople are not performing the same. Why? Because they didn't eat a real healthy meal. And it didn't give them the energy to drive the next half of the day. So taking care of the body is one of the most important things physically and, again, emotionally. To be able to perform best is when you take care of your body physically and emotionally. Emotionally, I mean by when you have something that brings you down, there's always a way out. So like I mentioned before, every situation, it's like when you slice something, there's always two sides. Every situation a person is going through, no matter what, the worst of the worst, there's always two meanings that you could give it. You could give it a positive meaning and you could give it a negative meaning. The second you give the meaning, this is what it really means to you for your entire life till you have the ability to change it. So when something happens, when you give it a meaning, you give it a positive meaning, you have the option to move forward. I'm not saying that it's not going to, a person could be sad if they lose something significant in their life. They could be sad, yes, for sure. And it's very normal. But it's still going to be, if they give it a positive meaning, they will be able to perform at their best, even when they have the loss they have. It's going to be a loss, not a disaster. So that's the number one, is to take care of the body physically and emotionally. Then always learning something new. Build your skills, always. No matter where you are. If you are the best, be your best. If you are your best today, you could be your best tomorrow. And it's not the same as today. If you learn every day something new, you build your skills all the way. And then another thing about yourself is to be really honest. And not only honest with your employees and with your customers or your clients, being honest with yourself. And then there's your commitment and it's your time, which you could work on yourself, which that's going to bring out the best in you. And when you'll be the best at you, it's going to automatically be to you an outstanding. You're going to stand out of all other people, because most people are not taking care of themselves. Then the next part I would go is the customers. The customers, we always say the customer is always right. That's in a point where you can make your customer feel right. But if you know at a certain point that it's not always that, you could say to yourself, I gave the customer the significance of being right, but I have to know that he was not really right. Because sometimes a person could bring himself down just by feeling that he gave the right for someone and it's not really right. So you could give the customer right, but you have to teach yourself that what I do was right, and what I did was right. And sometimes you have a customer which is unfortunately not at the best. And they sometimes could do things that they're not supposed to do. Then there's another point where you could deliver for your customers is returning phone calls or returning emails or anything that they need to be returned, and even maybe the funds. I don't know exactly how it works with Amazon. Maybe Amazon does it itself. Then there's another point where you could be outstanding is by packaging your product. Sometimes you could put in another few cents in a packaging, and you could either put a personal business card or a personal letter to thank the client for buying. That's something where I feel it could stand out, because Amazon people are not dealing face-to-face with clients. So that's where it's a little harder to be outstanding. But I think by adding in your packaging something is something where you could stand out from other people. Another point where I feel really is about putting a description. So you go online, you search on Amazon, there's a million questions on the product. When you deliver a description, which could be long, but it's very unique and it's outstanding, you put everything possible in the description, you're not going to have a lot of question and answers because everything is going to be answered. And my point by this is that sometimes people go on Amazon and they try to sell, they fight with the price. They always lower the price. And I spoke recently to the person who was selling on Amazon. He told me you could actually get some kind of program that they fight with your competition. My point in business, being cheap is not your uniqueness, because usually you will find another person who could be cheaper than you. But when you deliver a description that is outstanding, you write everything in it. You make sure you get right reviews, and you sell it even for a little more. What's going to happen in the beginning, I would say, is people would come and read your description and go buy the cheaper product, the product somewhere else where it's cheaper. But when a person will learn that when he wants to really have a good description, he has to come to this seller, he will be ready to pay the extra amount, and you'll eventually make a lot more money, and the reviews is going to be fantastic, and you're going to be outstanding. So that's on the... What?
Well said. And I want to touch on, you said about being cheap, not being uniqueness, not being your uniqueness. I make events like for Amazon sellers. I'm making one. And also at the beginning I decided, it should be cheap and everyone should come. And then I just realized that, when you're cheap, and first of all, you attract a certain type of clientele.
Exactly.
And number two is that if you charge $50 less, nobody says when they're at the event and, they're not having steak, or, you don't have two big, humongous audio video screens. Yeah, but I saved $30. Nobody says that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it makes more sense. Like I arranged the shaver brachas, and everyone said cheap, nobody's interested, right? So when you make it, you can get $50, you can get $70 a couple, you can get $90 a couple. So it's not my money, so I made it cheap, $50. Now when I get there, they have one roll for each person. The sushi is like a small thing, for 30 couples. And everyone's looking at me like, I get goonished. Like it's my fault.
Exactly.
And this is it. And for the $90 package, you get choices of soup, choices of main courses, a big dessert thing, and no one really thinks that when they're there that, well, I saved $30.
Exactly. So that's the point. Now you're right. So then I would go to the next point, where it comes the point of taking care of your team, taking care of your employees, which is people think that being a business owner, being a leader means to control your people and to manipulate your people and to give out orders. You do this, you do this. From my experience and from my point of view, leadership means knowing the outcome. What I mean by that is every individual who works in the company should know, what is my outcome for every single day? What is my outcome for working in this company? What is my outcome for this week, for this month, for this quarter, for this year? When a person knows exactly what his outcome is, they perform a lot better because they know where they're heading to. So when you're a leader and you have to build a relationship between your employees, but means there cannot be any conflicts between employees. When there is conflict between employees are always focused. Okay, now I'm in conflict with this employee, now with that. We need to build a team that should work everybody at the same goal. What is the outcome of this company? And we divide. You do the best in this point, so you do this. You do this because you're best at this. This is how you divide in the leadership for your employees. Another point, I was before talking about giving the right for the customer. or for the client. So when it comes to the point where an employee did not do what he's supposed to do, what is the vision that you could see it, that it should make you comfortable and give the power to the employee to do next time a better job? From my opinion, it's very different than most people do. Don't yell, first thing. When an employee made a mistake, you give the right to the customer or to the client, you give them back their money. What you could do to your employee, and when you'll do that, you'll see the difference, what it's going to make, is you go over to your employee, you take him in, you sit him down, and you tell him like this: I understand that what you did was your best possible at that moment. And it's true, because that employee did not intend to make a mistake. He wasn't forced to do it. He just made a mistake. He thought one thing and it happened something else. So in his vision, it was the best that he was able to do. When you could say that to an employee, and you say to the employee, I understand that you did your best. Now let's try. For next time, we should do better. What is the employee going to feel? If you could tell me. Yeah, and not only good, he's going to feel good. What's going to happen is that next time, he's not only going to make sure not to do the mistake, he's going to perform a lot more, because he knows that his employer, that his leader, will back him all the time. And when he will know that his employer will back him all the time, it's going to turn back on him, that they will back him. Someone is going to want to yell at the employer, at the leader of the company. They will say, yell at me. I'll take all the yelling at me. I saw recently a post on LinkedIn. An employer said exactly what her employee did, because they felt so strongly that the leader is taking care of them all the time, that they say, okay, deliver all the yelling, all the complaints on me, and let my employer, she's okay. She's going to be okay. So that's the point, even when they make a mistake.
Okay, Yakov, that was very good. I appreciate it. And I hope we get some comments.
I hope so too.
Yeah, and like you say, if you can't do a comment, at least go like this, right?
Exactly.
Get back, Fred. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll do this again. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.